Hi everyone, and welcome to part 9 of the Ivy and the Inky Butterfly Door to Enchantia colour along. So in the last part we tackled the mushrooms and the stones, and what else did we do? We did some of the ink spots and also the lanterns. So this time I'm going to be concentrating on the door. Now let's zoom in and I'll show you exactly what colours we're going to be using. So I thought we should emulate the stonework of the surround, the archway, and make the door stone as well. So it would sort of, when it was closed, it would sort of look just like this big stone doorway in the middle of the Enchantia forest. So I've chosen exactly the same colours as we used for the stones. We've got the 10% cool grey, the 30%, the 70%, and also the 90% cool grey as well. So the reason I've got the 90% out is I wanted to do this border of the doorway, the sort of frame, in the darkest colour, and so it would look sort of a little bit inset into the wall. So we'll see if that works out. So just going to zoom out very slightly so we can see the whole of the doorway. And we're just going to colour this fairly solidly all the way around. So make sure your pencil's nice and sharp. And just follow the edges of each boulder, each stone, and colour it right up to the line. So I hope you enjoyed the last part of the video. It seemed like everyone did. They all look really, really good. Everyone seems to be just nailing it, and I'm super, super proud that I've been able to hopefully teach you a few different things and make your colouring of this page less daunting and more enjoyable. So I hope that's what we've achieved in this colour along. Everyone keeps asking me whether I'm going to do any more colour alongs. I probably will in the future. It's not something I don't think I'm going to do on a regular basis because it just takes so much time. I mean 9 hours so far, and you know, I just don't have a lot of time to do it, but maybe in the future we can do another one together and it'll be awesome. Just not a regular thing, I don't think. So in my last video I explained to you all that my mum's cat had gone missing. The cat was missing for 4 days, and I put a missing poster thingamajig on Facebook on the local sites, and a lady got in touch with some photographs of Jenny saying that she'd been to her house that morning and she'd given her some food, and I say her, it's a boy. She'd given him some food and then he'd gone off again. And we went up there. It was actually quite a few streets away from my mum, so Jenny had gone quite far out. To say that she or he never went off the street at all in all this time, I find it quite surprising that he would go that far. But the lady said that she would keep an eye out for him. We didn't hear anything at all. The lady said he didn't come back the next day, and I actually went out with a tin of tuna and did a sort of Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs sort of debacle all the way up the street, all the way from the woman's house to my mum's house, just flaking little bits of tuna. I don't know what I thought that would achieve because there's about 1 million cats around here, but anyway, so I did that, and then that night, this was last night, my mum asked my brother, he's 16, to go out and spray some catnip in a sort of a bit of a trail. And I was thinking, Mum, 1 million cats are going to come and it's just going to be chaos. So about every 10 to 15 yards, he was just spraying a bit of catnip all the way up the street. But anyway, it must have worked, because around about 9 o'clock last night, my mum opened the back door to shout Jenny again, and there he was on the doorstep. Ran straight into the house, and Mum was just ecstatic. She's missed him so much. She's been crying. I mean, he's always been a sort of half indoor, half outdoor cat, like most cats are. But now she's vowed that he isn't going out ever again, and if she's going to take him outside, it's going to be on some sort of cat lead. I don't know. She's a bit, I think she's just super happy to have him home. I did try to explain to her that cats generally do go off for a few days and then turn up again, but she was worried that he'd been got by a fox or that he got onto the motorway or whatever, so he's home now. I think it'd probably be a good idea for Mum to get him neutered. It's just that it costs a bit of money, and she's not, she might not be in the position to do that. But the lady was saying that, the lady that found, well, not found him, but he came to her house, she was saying that because he's unneutered and it's in season for she-cats to be in season at the moment, he was probably looking for a she-cat or smelling one out or something. I don't know what they do. And that's probably why he went off. But Mum just thought it was really weird that he'd gone off the street, because for the first time in like over a year, he went off the street, because he never does. And if you try and pick him up and take him off the street, he'd just like, you know, freak out and jump down. So it was just really weird. But back now, it was either the tuna or the catnip or neither or both, which helped him find his way home. Like I say, he did go quite a way away. It's quite a few streets away. One lady commented on the video that I did last time that cats only go like 50 yards or something away from the home, or 50 metres, but this was quite a bit further than that, so I don't think Mum's going to let him out of her sights again too soon. So we've almost finished with the inner edge of the doorway, and I just wanted to make it look like it sort of went in a little bit to the wall. So hopefully we will achieve that. Again, everything I do on these videos is pretty much off the cuff. You know, I don't do a lot of thinking about it beforehand. I'll just get the colours out, so I'm not sort of boring you going through my pencil case. And then just hope it works, really. I don't have a test book or anything like that I do it on beforehand. Mainly because I don't think I could be bothered to do it twice, which is really awful, but I'm super lazy and I just want to colour things fast and make sure that they still look awesome, you know. So it's a happy medium. So we've done the outline with our 90% cool grey. Now I'm thinking whether to do the frame bit of this door here, the outline of the door, in the same colour. I think I will. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to commit to it. So, there we go. So yeah, the tuna yesterday was quite hilarious actually, because I meant to only go up the street and do the tuna and then come home. And obviously I look like a complete weirdo walking around with an open tin of tuna, like flaking it on the ground. But then my mum came with me in the end, and she had to go into town. And she was like, will you come into town with me? So yes, I ended up putting the tuna in the bin and going the entire way to town on the bus with my fingers stinking of tuna. And I'm sure everyone must have thought that was absolutely disgusting. But luckily by the time I got into town I was able to go and wash my hands. But yeah, not good. The things you do for animals. I mean, I'm not even a cat person, I'm a dog person. You know, I do love all animals, but I don't know. So I've gone out of the lines a little bit there, but I'm not too bothered. We'll be going over that with the next darkest grey anyway, so. So that's a real pop of dark colour that we haven't had much of on this page. I think it looks really good so far. Now that we've done the outline of the door, I was thinking about either doing the 70% cool grey all the way around, and then the next lightest, and then the lightest in the middle, like we did with the stones, or going with the 70% this side where it will be probably darkest, and then moving up to the lightest grey here where it will be lightest. But I'm just not sure now that we've done that black border whether that would look right, having the lightest grey up to here. Decisions. You know what, I'm just going to carry on the way that we did the stones, because I know that will look good, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So we're going to do outline of this 70% cool grey. And again, just try and gauge how thick you think the line should be. So we're going to use 3 colours in this door, and we're going into the middle of the door. So just, you know, try and partition it into thirds if you can, to see how thick your lines need to be. I'm just doing a general outline first because we do need to get around all of these ivy leaves and this sort of scrolling pattern as well. So it might be a little bit tricky, but we'll get there. So I've had lots of suggestions from people who want to do the steps here, these sort of scalloped edges in little gemstone shapes and colours. So we're not going to do anything fancy, it'll just be probably different coloured gems. Maybe it'll just be red ones like we did on the lantern, or maybe red and purple ones, and we'll just put some white highlight on there to make it look shiny, but nothing too scary or daunting. It's not a big enough area to do, you know, intricate gemstones, so we'll just keep it simple. And for this scrolly bit, I'm actually thinking of doing that in the same gold that we did the lanterns, so that it just all ties in together. I'm just trying to work out at the moment where the stone is. I think it's on the inside here. So video 8, the last part with the lanterns and stuff, that was just horrendous to get to connect to my computer. It took me 7 hours. I don't know whether you're on my Facebook page, but if you are, you will have seen my frustrated status updates trying to get part 8 to connect. So what happened was, I film all of these on my iPhone, all of these videos, and with them being like an hour long, I have to plug the phone into the computer to transfer the file. And without getting too techie, because I'm not techie, usually what happens is I'll plug the phone in and straight away a little window will pop up saying, have a look at what files are inside the phone. And then I can just click and drag the movie file, the video file onto my desktop, and it will copy over. So this time it decided not to show me that window and just make a noise when I connected it, and it would charge, but it wouldn't actually connect. So I was fiddling about with it. I was doing all sorts of system resets and turning things on and off and unplugging and plugging back in, etc, etc, and it just wasn't happening. And then when I finally did do something right, I was reinstalling drivers and all sorts of things. When I finally did something right, I got the window to pop up, and I was like, oh, finally. This was like the halfway point, like the 3 hour mark. The window finally popped up, and then the file, the video file, was there, but it must have been corrupted or something, I don't know, because it just wasn't, when I copied it over to the desktop, it was like 0 bytes, so it didn't even have, like, usually the videos are like 7 gigabytes or something like that, and it didn't have any memory whatsoever. So I don't know what the hell went wrong there, but I was then downloading all sorts of different programs onto my computer that would copy and transfer files from iPhone to PC. And again, these would copy over and then they'd get stuck halfway through and freeze, or they'd copy over and it would be the same thing again with no bytes of memory. Finally, it was like the last thing that I could try. I found this program called iMazing, and it managed to transfer the file over for me, and it was just incredible. After like 7 hours of trying to do this, finally had the file. And you know, then I had to run through all of my usual stuff like editing, not really editing, but I run it through a different program so that it sort of compresses the file a little bit and it makes it a lot quicker to upload to YouTube. So I had to do that, and that took a while, and then it took a while to upload it to YouTube and blah blah blah. But anyway, as soon as I actually got the file onto my PC, I was happy, because it just didn't seem like it was going to happen, and I was really worried about missing out a part for you guys. So we did it, we got it done. Super determined lady. And also, you know, I didn't want to have to make another video and go back through it all again. But yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. It's probably my longest video. I think it was like 1 hour and 8 minutes, and I didn't know whether that had something to do with it, that it just wouldn't play. But if I was going to upload it to like Dropbox or something like that, it would have taken ages and ages anyway, and it might not have even done it in the end. So I just persevered and kept trying, and I'm hoping that this one isn't going to cause me too much trouble. I've still got the iMazing program on the computer, so hopefully I can resort to that if it doesn't work again this time, but hopefully it will. So this is what I'm going through to bring this colour along to you guys. So I'm going to try not to make the videos too much longer than 1 hour. We ran over last time because I was doing the lantern and there was all different bits and bobs to do. By the way, you should have also done your second lantern between those videos, because I only did one on camera to save time. So you should be sort of at the same place as I'm at now. So I've done a fairly thick border of this 70% cool grey. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point in time, because we can always go over it again and add a few more layers of colour if needed. But when you're happy and you've left a little mushy bit at the edge, you know, that little hazy touch of colour at the edge to blend into, we can go in with our next colour, which is the 30% cool grey. So just making a bit of an edge here, a bit of a base. So I'm super happy that I've had so many messages from people who are finding this colour along a massive help in their colouring generally, rather than, you know, some people aren't actually doing this page, but they're watching the colour alongs because they're learning things. And that's amazing to me. I mean, every single video I do, I think I'm going to mess up on this, I've not done this right, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then it always turns out okay, and I get so many nice comments from people saying how it's actually helping improve their skills overall, which is really nice, like the simple blends and stuff. So I'm so glad about that. So we're going over the hazy edge of the darkest grey that we left there and colouring out with this grey. So again, leaving that hazy edge just gives you a little base to start from and get that blend looking nice and smooth. I use circular motions usually when I colour, and that just helps to keep a nice smooth transition rather than a linear one. So as for the inside of the door, we're obviously looking into the Wonder Room. Now I don't know whether you've coloured this or not yet, but you may want to stick to the colours that you've used on the original Wonder Room page to obviously make it cohesive and tie in with what you've already done. And that's, you know, super fine by me, you just do whatever you want. And I'm going to be colouring it in the same colours that I used. So the background of the Wonder Room is this sort of clay rose colour, and I'm going to be doing it like that. So when we do get onto that part, please feel free to use whatever colours you've already done in the Wonder Room, or you can just copy mine, it's totally fine. As for Ivy's dress, I'm pretty sure further down, yeah, I did Ivy's dress red. So I'm probably going to carry on with Ivy in a red dress. Again, just depends what you want, your preference, and what you've already coloured in the book if you want to keep it all tied in. I'll tell you what was weird about Mum's cat that I've just remembered. The lady who found the cat, or you know, the cat came to her house, she actually lives on the same street that my nana lived on, who Jenny is named after. So how weird is that, that she actually ended up on the same street? Just thought that was really creepy. Not creepy, cool, you know? Just strange. Who knows if Nana was, you know, luring her there so that we'd find her, I don't know. My son Max seems to think that Nana's reincarnated into the cat. Yeah, that's his theory. So last night I did a review of a beautiful book that depicts lots of buildings and scenes from the country Bosnia and Herzegovina. And that's a European country, if you didn't know, because I was a bit like, where is it? And it's a beautiful book, and there's a giveaway. So if you want to try and get your hands on a copy of the book, go to the last video that I posted, the review of the book, and there's a link in the description there where you can go to my blog and enter the giveaway. And it is a worldwide giveaway again, so anywhere you are in the world, you are welcome to join. And my last giveaway for the clothing, the colourable clothing, I had 3 winners for that, and one of them was in America, one of them was in Australia, and one of them was in South Africa. So really is a worldwide giveaway. You don't have to be in, you know, the usual countries that watch these kind of videos. You know, you could be anywhere. You could be absolutely anywhere. So yeah. I do love doing giveaways. I love to get pictures from people who've won, you know, with their book or with the colouring that they've done from the book, so I can see how amazing it is and how they're enjoying it and stuff. So we've got into almost the centre of the door. Obviously we've left some space for our very last colour, which is the 10% cool grey. And at this point you can just sort of see how much space you want to leave for that colour. If you've left too much, you can bring this grey in a little bit more, like I'm doing now, or you can just go straight in with it. It's looking pretty good so far, guys. Hope you're happy with the way that I've decided to do this door. And when you're happy with the space that you've left and you think it's all sort of equally sectioned or whatever, you can go in with the last colour. So 10% cool grey. Again, we're going over the edge of the grey that we've just put down to make sure we've got a blend. And you can fill that entire thing in. So before I started this video this morning, I was actually attempting to do another video of something I'm not going to tell you about right now because I'm going to do it on the channel, but it was like my first attempt at something, a project, a colouring project for YouTube to show you guys, and it went completely wrong. So at the moment I've got a lot of Mod Podge and glue and stuff sort of dripping everywhere. On the windowsill where I've just put the project out of the way because it was doing my head in. So yeah, lots of fun and games this morning. I'm hoping that does not continue when I have to come to upload this video. So let me know what you've been doing, what you've been up to, if you've been colouring anything different. Any questions, again, that you want to ask me, please feel free and I'll answer them in the video. I've not been getting many at the moment, so I'm still thinking of things to talk about on these videos. So we've pretty much coloured the whole door now. And it's looking pretty good, if I say so myself. Let's have a look how it looks on camera. Oh, it looks even better on camera. So what I'm going to do is go in with the next darkest grey, which was the 30%, and just make sure that we have a nice blend. If there's any areas that you've gone over too much or whatever, you can just buff those out with your other colours. Also going to do a little bit of the 70%, because that's sort of been reduced back more towards the very edge of the door with adding the other greys on. So I've had a few comments from people who are enjoying learning how to do the 3 colour blends and how easy that is. Because I know a lot of people think that you need to have loads of colours to make a really nice seamless blend. And in some cases that is true, because the more colours you have, the shades that are closest to each other. For instance, if you start with a really deep red and then you go on to a medium red and a lighter red and then like a vermilion orange and then a brighter orange and then like an orange yellow, and etc., you do get some beautifully seamless blends because you are going literally shade by shade. But I just think the easiest and quickest way for someone lazy like me who just wants to get it done is the 3 colour blend. So basically you just look at your colours, say for example these greys, and then you would sort of skip one usually, so that it's not, you know, you're not using too many shades. So for instance, you'd get 1 dark, 1 medium and 1 light, and if you had say 6 reds, you could use the darkest of that and then skip one to the next one and then skip one and use the next one. So it's usually about skipping a shade because they'll still blend into each other really, really well. It'll just make that transition a bit quicker. So we have our door. Now, as I said, I wanted to do the scrolly bits and probably the lock as well. Just missed a bit here in this pattern here. Probably the lock as well in the gold that we used on the lantern. So if you used a gel pen or whatever it is you used, you can bring that out again on the doorway. So again, if you want to touch up any bits and bobs, I'll probably have a look at this after and see that I want to add a little bit more grey here and there. You can do that. Now I'm going to pop those paints out again, so we can just quickly do this scroll work. Again, I'm using the Fine Tech paints. Amazing, amazing paint. As you saw in the last video, extraordinarily shiny and metallic-y. Just putting some water on there. Getting the brush out that I used last time, which is this flat edge brush. And you don't need a lot of water at all on these. So I'm going to try and do this quite quickly because I don't want to be here all day with this video. And I want to see what else we can get done. So once you've got your brush or whatever you're using loaded up, you can start. So this is going to be pretty difficult because obviously these are quite narrow and curved lines. So 2 things that are not great for using paint with, narrow and curved. And you just have to take your time a little bit here. So I've heard that some people are actually buying these paints to do this colour along. You really don't have to, you can use anything you want. But I am glad that these paints are getting a little bit more recognition because they are absolutely amazing. Don't know whether you saw on my Facebook page and on my Instagram, and also on here as well, that I did a page for Johanna from this book for her collaboration colouring book that she was doing, and I've sent it off to her, and it's going to get rebound and everybody's pictures are all going to be in the book. And I used these paints on the honeycomb background that I did for my bees, and it was just so shiny. Johanna was really impressed, which was awesome. So yeah, definitely would recommend these paints. So I have really shaky hands and I'm not very precise whatsoever, so this is going to turn out a little bit rough, but it's all good. I'm sure that you guys will have perfect always, and if not, it doesn't matter. Everything on this page is a little bit rough. You know, I've gone out of the lines all over the shop, but it's all good because it looks okay, you know, from afar. So my son Shane is going to be 12 next month. The day after, not the day after, the day before Valentine's Day. Should know when my own son's birthday is. And I actually can't believe that I've got a 12-year-old child. It's really weird to me because I still feel like, you know, about 16, I still feel like I'm in high school, you know, in my head. So it's just really strange to me to think that I've got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. Because, you know, I'm not 30 yet, so I'm pretty young. 30 in May. Quite worried about that. 30 just seems like it's a whole different ball game. When you're in your 20s, you feel like you've got all the time in the world to achieve anything you want to achieve. But I basically spent my whole 20s bringing up my children, so to be 30, I mean, it's almost like that's the adult age, you know. But yeah. Again with the weight thing, stepped on the scales the other night, 15 stone, which is to me sickening, and I don't want that to affect anyone. That's just to me. I think, oh, you know, because I've got really low self-esteem. But my husband keeps saying, you know, you're really tall, you can carry it well, which is true to an extent, but it's just the heaviest I've ever been, and I'm absolutely 100% sure that it's my medication, because I seem to have just ballooned since I've been on that. So I don't know about any of you guys. So I'm on the pill, I'm on the mini pill, and it's not for contraception, it's because I have horrendous monthlies. I haven't got, what's that thing called? What's that thing called where you have like a disease of the womb? Endometriosis. So I haven't got that as far as we know, but I just end up having really bad pain for like most of the month, and you know, I'm not going to go on about it, but all that kind of good stuff. And then I went on the mini pill, and everything seems okay in that department now, so I don't, you know, get horrendous periods anymore, but I seem to have put a lot of weight on since I've been on it. And in the time that I also started on that pill, I have also gone up with my SSRIs. So I've gone from 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams, and apparently that is a big weight gainer thing as well. So I can't come off the pill because it will take me back to having horrendous times of the month, and I can't come off the SSRIs because of my depression and anxiety. So it's basically either come off them and not be able to handle anything and have horrendous pain, or just be a bit fat. Now, as you guys know, I spoke about it before, and I have literally no willpower whatsoever. But I do try and eat a lot of greens and veggies and stuff, and when I do that, my IBS plays up big time, which is really, really common actually. So I'm sort of stuck in a catch-22 situation at the moment. Obviously you can try other pills and things like that, but because this one is working so well for what it needs to work for, the doctor's reluctant, and I'm reluctant, to be honest, to change that. Now, I am going to try and wean myself back down to 50 milligrams on the SSRIs, just to see if that will help, because obviously I don't want to be on a high dosage of antidepressants forever. And it will hopefully help with the weight gain. I just seem to be putting it on out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure I haven't changed my eating habits too much. Maybe slightly more of an appetite, but not. It doesn't seem to correlate with the amount of weight that I'm putting on. So my husband keeps saying, will they not give you a hysterectomy, or, you know, and take your ovaries out, or something that would stop periods altogether? And I just keep trying to explain to him, they just don't do that for everyone. You know, you have to be like really, really bad and really need the operation to have that done, because it is a major operation. But I'm not having any more kids, so it wouldn't bother me. I just don't think that they would do that. Maybe it's something I need to look into more, I don't know. I hope that you don't mind this little bit of medical personal chat. It's just what's going on in my life at the moment. So, and I don't mind talking about it. I'm not shy to talk about medications and things like that. And you know, you all know that I've got anxiety and depression, and it's part of my story. It's part of why I started colouring. It's part of me. So, not bothered about talking about that whatsoever. It's a really taboo subject, but it doesn't bother me. You know, I know that I'm capable and in a good place at the moment so far as my mental anxiety and issues are. I don't know if I'd say good place, you know, manageable. So that's all good. I think that's it. So we've done that nice shiny little bit of scroll work on the door. Now I'm going to do this doorknob in the gold as well. And I think for the other part, the rest of it, the surrounding part, we will do maybe like a stony colour again, I'm not sure. I was going to say wooden, but there's no wood on this, so it wouldn't really make sense. Okay, also while we've got our gold paint out, I'm going to do the very top bit of the top stone, so this bit here. So it's a little bit of a sunshine type graphic. I don't know what if you would call it, like a etching into the stone. But I'm going to use the gold paint to go over that as well. So it's all going to tie in really nicely together. So let's talk celebrity crushes. This will be fun. You can tell me in the comments who your major celebrity crushes are. I have a few. Main one at the moment is Tom Hardy. I think everyone is loving Tom Hardy at the moment. Gerard Butler, of course. I mean, there are that many now, I can't even think. I was really into Benedict Cumberbatch for a while, and then I've sort of gone off him. I think it was more that I was into Sherlock than him. Who else? I'm trying to think now. That's it, Claire. Bring up a subject and then not know what to talk about within it. Let's think. So I was super into Philip Glenister for ages and ages. This was years ago now. So if you've ever watched the TV series Life on Mars or Ashes to Ashes, he played the character Gene Hunt, and I was pretty obsessed with him, with the character. So really like him. So we've got our doorknob done now. Let's move on from the paint and do a little bit of a stone edge around this doorknob. So I'm going on with the 70% cool grey. Just watch your paint here, it might still be a little bit wet. We're going to outline it. Next grey, 30%. Exactly the same as we've been doing. And then the 10% in the middle. Now if you find that you've gone over and blurred any of these little pattern lines, you can always go back in with a really fine pigment liner and put those back in, or just, you know, a black pen. So nothing really special for that, just making it look like it's part of the door. If you wanted to, you could add some of that 90% in right at the edge. Needs a bit of a sharpen, this one. And then while I've got my gold out, I'm just going to do this little tiny 3-petal bit on the door. There we go. So we have done our door. Now you might notice that the stems of the ivy have not been coloured yet. So if you just want to get out any old green, I'm going to go for the moss green and just colour those in. It's all good. It's actually quite a good choice because it seems quite true to the branches of the ivy plant, which I believe are a little bit brown, and this moss green has a lot of brown in it. So we've done the door. Now what time are we on? We're on 43 minutes. So let's do these gem types things on the steps. Now we did sort of red gemstones on the bottom of the lanterns, and we do have a lot of purple on this page, so I'm thinking, how about red and purple? So let's get our Scarlet Lake and our violet. Make sure they're really sharpened. Look at this cute sharpener I got from the shop. It's really rubbish. Let's give it a go. So what you have to do is, it's got like these blades, and you have to pull the ear across and put the pencil in and then let it go so it holds the pencil. I think this is how you do it. Yeah. And then you turn the wheel, and then this slowly closes. You can see it closing. Now the last probably 5 pencils that I've done with this have all turned out really badly. I'm sure it's not going to be the case now because I'm on camera. Told you. So it's actually sharpened that one really, really well, and it's not coming out or anything. So let's do it again with the purple. It's kind of awkward. You have to have more than 2 hands. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, beautiful. So the other pencils that actually went wrong with this were different brand. So obviously it works with Prismacolor, so that's awesome. Got it from Tesco for £2, just in case you're in the UK. And it has this little drawer that slides out with all your sharpenings in it, so that's cool. If anything gets stuck in the blade, you can just twist that out and take the blade out. So yeah, got loads of bits and bobs on the page now. So now that we've got our pencils nice and sharp, we're literally just going to colour them in completely solidly. There goes the very tip of the pencil. Completely solidly, and we'll do the colours, what's the word where that's one after the other? It's gone. So we'll skip a colour and we'll do the red in between. So one thing that I've just noticed is some ink spots on the steps and also in the doorway. So make sure that you colour those in black, the same as the ink spots that we did in the last video. Alternating colours, there's the word, I've been thinking about it this whole time. Alternating colours. So this is why I'm absolutely rubbish in arguments, because I just can't think of what I want to say, and then as soon as it comes to me, it's like 3 hours later. So this looks cool, it's sort of like circusy. And we're going to do exactly the same on these stones as well. So obviously they don't really look like gemstones, but when we come to the very last video where we're adding all of our white gel pen highlights, we will be putting little highlights on them, making them look really shiny and rounded. So don't forget, if you don't have a gel pen, a white gel pen, try and get one before the last video, or you could use a really, really fine paintbrush and some white acrylic paint. Just depends what you've got. Again, you don't have to do the white highlights if you don't want to, but I find it just sets off the page, and it's that very final step that makes everything look super shiny and awesome. So try and get yourself one of those. I use the Uniball Sino Broad White Gel Pen. It looks like this, and you can get them on Amazon, on eBay, everywhere really. I think they might even do them in high street stationers like Ryman's. So they're really inexpensive as well. I think you can get one for like £2, or a pack of 3 for about £6 on Amazon. I'm loving now that we've got these pops of vibrant colour coming into the page. I know we do have that beautiful pink background and obviously all the green of the leaves, but we've got some really nice solid bold colours in the page now, which is really awesome. So I hope that you are happy with how we're doing this. If you don't want to have colours on these steps, you could just colour these circles in with your greys and just tie them in, make it look like it's some sort of stone pattern thing. That's totally up to you. So there we go for now. That's our steps done. We are on 50 minutes, so I've got another 10 minutes to do a little bit more. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We will do this little scrolling bottle. Now remember how we used the artichoke on the candle wick, on the candle length of the candle, whatever they're called. Did we use artichoke? Yeah, artichoke and ginger root, I think. So let's get those two colours out again because they are perfect scroll colours. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the darkest one, which is the artichoke. And we're going to go in on this right hand side and just do a simple line with it. And then with the ginger root, just blend that out. It wasn't the candlesticks, that was the French grey, it was the mushroom stalks. That's what we use these for. So you should have it darker at this right hand side, blending into lighter on the edge. And then on the inside of the scroll, you can just do that in the artichoke. And on that very tiny bit in the middle, you can do the ginger root, just so it gives it a little bit of three-dimensional look, and it's not like we're just colouring it in to get it out of the way. Now you can also use the artichoke for the cork if you want to. There we go. And I don't know whether I want this to be a blue glass, like a clear glass bottle with blue highlights and whatever, or whether I want it to be a green bottle, which is a bit more traditional, but we do have a lot of green on here. I think what I'm going to do is we'll just get a really nice light blue. Let's go for the powder blue. And I do have quite a bit of grey that's gone onto this bottle, so let's try and get rid of a bit of that. Okay, so let's see. I've not really done a lot of glass before. Let's just do a few little strokes, see how we go. So I think basically if you just get this powder blue and do a few little strokes of blue, but don't fill the entire bottle in blue, just leave some white, it does look a little bit glassy. Obviously with the white gel pen we'll go in there and do a few little white highlights to make it look even more 3D. But for now I think just a little touch of powder blue on that is perfect. Okay, so I think that that's pretty much the end of the video. Tell you what we could do this little snail while we're here, just to make up a few more minutes. Let's see, what colour do we do this little Mr. Snail? Let's go with like a really bright aqua for the shell. So I've got aquamarine and light aqua. Now let's just follow the curls of the shell with the darkest, which is the aquamarine, and then just fill in the rest with this light aqua. Just be careful, your pencils have to be super sharp for this, but Prismacolors do not like being super sharp. See? Making sure that we've got a nice line. Now if you find that you can't do this with your pencils, you could always go in with like a gel pen or something. Let's have a look. You could always go in with a gel pen and do the lines, or a fine liner, anything that has more of a point to it than these pencils. So as you can see, hopefully, let's zoom in on Mr. Snail. So you can see that I've done like a jelly roll outline of the swirl in his shell. But you can do whatever you want. So now we've done that, pop these back so I don't lose all my pencils. We will just do a little touch of orange, I think, for his body, a light orange. So let's go with this yellowed orange. Nothing special here, just colouring him in. That's it. Super cute. And if you have used the gel pen, you've got like a really, don't know if you can see, like a shiny swirl. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed doing a few more bits and bobs on the page. Now all we have left to do is the inside of our door, so I'm hoping we can get a bit of that done on the next video. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's. Let's zoom out so you can see everything that we've done. And let me know in the comments if you've got anything you want to chat about or anything you want to ask or request. And I'll see you on part 10.